made me feel I might lose myself one moonless night. I was afraid of the light being dark, maybe stand out on the days I would choose to be invisible. I was afraid of the pain being dark, offered to me on crystal platters by well-meaning folk who assumed it was my supper. I was afraid of the box, the bag, the game being dark, being too little, too much, too loud, too soft, being dark, being blessed or cursed, being dark. Damn. Then, when I was 10 years old, my grandmommy says to me, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. After studying on that a while, I ran for the beach, bought some coconut oil, and really pitied all them folks whose juices have no flavor. I became allies with moonless nights, put on shows in the daytime, said no thank you to pain pastry, and realized the box, the bag, the game has got to have a victim. Well, I hung up my victim shoes and took to wiggling my dark toes when I wanted to.
Star Trek. It always comes back to the Prime Directive, which my father claims was a protest of the Vietnam War. I think back then he saw himself as a black Captain Kirk, cruising the cosmos in an afro and tight gold shirt. When he was 18, he moved that way, traveling where no colored man had gone before. Carrying the doo-wop street corners of his neighborhood with him, he crossed over into suburbia, ringing doorbell after doorbell, holding his breath, waiting for that pale face to materialize. In this moment, he was captain of a starship, and like the spacemen witnessing Kirk's arrival, those housewives saw something alien among their marigolds. Good afternoon, sometimes the only part of his speech he said before doors slammed shut. Sometimes they invited him in, curious ladies wanting to know why he wasn't over in Vietnam or if he knew Dr. King. One woman asked what black women used for makeup. In those living rooms, haunted by the nightly news, he gave monologues on the merits of Britannia. While they searched his face for evidence of the fire they'd seen the night before in the sanitation workers from Memphis marching across the screen, I am a man printed on the signs they carried. Sometimes they chased him off before he had a chance to speak, throwing rocks and sticks after him like they would a dog. In some towns, the air itself seemed to want his blood, and he struggled to imagine Spock and McCoy flanking him, phasers ready. On the road that summer, he owned nothing but the sky and what he could imagine there.
This poem is called Exodus by me. And it's for a woman named Grace Lort. I praise an ordinary woman, gray blonde and stocky, nearing 40, who stood as part of a snarling crowd outside Central High School in Little Rock on September 5th, 1957. She watched as 8 black teenagers, all chosen for excellent grades, got out of a Chevy wagon. She saw them approach the ring of guardsmen, ordered to turn them away. Saw the crew cuts, the loose-slung rifles, the fingers more used to basketballs drumming on billy sticks. When the 8 faltered and finally turned back, she might have helped scream them away. And then she saw the latecomer ninth walk up to the spit of nigger die. A girl named Elizabeth Eckford in crinolines and a pressed white blouse, 15, too shy to bolt, the only black person in sight. And suddenly, this unknown woman, her face ambushed by pity, stepped out from the mob and touched Elizabeth Eckford's shoulder, made of herself a shield and wedge, shamed her own to give way, and brought the girl out through the bitter swell, rising and closing behind them.
For a Farmer, James A. Emanuel. Something slow moves through him, washed by hills. Something low within each rock receives his noonday wish, then crumbles rich, so fills each furrow that the prairie year upheaves. His arm has lain with boulders, his copper hand has mused on roots, uncaring of barbed wire. His fist has closed on thistle and dug the land for corn October snows have whelmed entire. Something flows within him in stubborn streams, and in the parted foliage something lives in upright green. Stirred by the rhythmic gleams of his hoe and spade, from worn-out arms he gives. The earth receives, turns all his pain to soil, where he believes and testifies through toil.
This is from I Love Being Black, and this is part 1 called Black on Me. I love being black. Pause, redact, rewind that track. Can't sow fiction, hoping to reap fact. Bid you bear a bit of clarification. The truth in contention is not the degree of affection I hold for my complexion. Of that, there is no question. Open adoration. Nah, my realities tend to run amok when I complacently lend my voice to a social construct. Repeatedly allowing falsehoods to reoccur. 'Cause lying lips of my own have been known to condone the noir moniker. See, I stand naked before the mirror. She celebrates all of me, and I embrace the whole of her. And from my head's crown on down to my heels that tend to crack, I am wrapped in shades after glorious shades of brown with strategic spatterings of black. It's true, you might want to mark it on down as a fact. From the arch of my dark brow, cross my scalp with my grays, chasing it on back to my kitchen tangle. I know it, not just think, from deep in my pit on down to my triangle of sun don't shine kink. Only I can use the black on me again me. to shame or shine, to divide and define. It's funny how some folks frown. Me, I'm fine. They can't seem to wrap their minds round the fact this black on this abundance of wondrous brown is, if we don't be exact, all mine.
We have an encore that everybody is going to share in. Before we do that, I would like to thank the members of the committee, Ellen, Judy, Rosa, Rajni, who were poets as well, who put this together. We spent many really fruitful, rich hours working together, and it was such pleasure, and I can't thank them all enough. And give it up for them. And again, the Clemens for having us here. On a special birthday. And for Major for driving all the way from the Cape to get here. What we would like to do, you have an insert in your program of Maya Angelou's Still I Rise. And I would like all the poets to come up and stand in front of us and lead us in a communal reading of Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. Everybody got a copy? Share one if you can't find yours. Ready? Still I rise. Come on. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons, like suns, with the certainty of tides. Just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Thank you, thank you.
So welcome back to LCA TV Channel 15 in Colchester, Vermont. Today we're going to be presenting a band that is a treasure of Vermont entertainment. And I am saying this because in my research I found them playing everywhere, and everywhere was packed. I was invited by the leader to go to the Virgin Opera House, and that was a sold-out concert. And then today, after a few months working on this, we are very proud to have them in our show. And I would like to begin by one of the legends of the band, whose name is Mr. John Clark Jr., who plays the tenor saxophone, and during many years was playing blues with Little Richards. Is that okay? So get ready, we're going to have a lot of blues here. And then we have on violin, Mr. Ethan Wallman, who is also a great singer. You can give him a bow from your home. And we have Nick Streeter, he's on bass. Beautiful. And we have a man who plays percussion and also plays cajon peruano, and his name is Damian Roy. And on guitar, we have a very special player who has a wonderful timbre and can also make background vocals here for the band. His name is Mike Heiler. Give him a bow from your home, ladies and gentlemen. And Mr. Shane Merle, who is a very busy man and has been keeping this band since 2001. And we are very proud to be hosting this band for that reason. And we have a very excellent sound man whose name is Peter Bailey, who have been working hard here. And on the other side of the set, we have Rebecca Badula. So thank you very much. My name is Tony Vasanta. Today, I'm very happy. We are going to have a lot of beautiful music. I have been listening to them down here in the sound check and setting up. And many of the hits that you're going to enjoy, they are really fantastic. And I have one note here for you. If you love Americana, country folk, alternative rock, with a marinated twist of soul funk, then you will love many of the songs and melodies that the Shane Merle Band have ready to be played here for you. So thank you very much. And as I always say, from Colchester to the world, LCA TV, Channel 15. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
she's standing in her underwear, looking down from a hotel room. Nightfall will be coming soon. Oh my, oh hell yes, you got to put on your party dress. It was too cold to cry when I woke up alone. I hit my last note, I walked to the road singing Last Dance with Mary Jane. One more time to kill the pain. I feel summer creeping in and I'm tired of this town again. Yeah, cheers. Little Tom Petty did.
I have to say that I feel really very happy to be hosting this show. We have made 29 shows here in Colchester. I have a wonderful co-host who is Rebecca Badula, and now I have a great band here. I have a wonderful sound man, Mr. Peter Bailey, who have been working hard in the studio. We also have the wife of Mr. John Clark, who is a very busy woman taking care of you. Yeah, because
God
you know,
bless her.
that's very important. And then the music. So we have had a great variety, as I announced at the beginning. We're going to have a lot of beautiful, great songs. And I would like to begin by the leader tonight, because it is difficult to have a band like this on the road, playing almost everywhere. This band is like the entertainers of the Green Mountain State, because I can read your names in many places. And you came from Texas.
Yeah, originally moved to, born in Houston, Texas, and then moved to Kerrville, Texas. Pretty much grew up there, and met a Canadian nurse, and I was working at the hospital, little respiratory tech job, met a Canadian nurse, and we started dating for 2 years. She had a contract for 2 years in Kerrville, Texas from Canada, first time. And so we extended an extra year. She extended an extra year for me. And then on the third year, she's like, you know what, I can't handle the heat. Vamonos. So if you want to come get out of Texas, you can come with me. And so out of the options were Duke University and the old Fletcher Allen Healthcare. And so we moved up to 2001 and moved to Vermont. And I got a job in respiratory as a tech. And she started her nursing orientation. And soon after that, I met my sound guy, Peter Bailey, and he wasn't my sound guy then, but he was an ICU nurse. He worked with my wife, and I was just singing in the cafeteria one day, and next thing you know, he was like, dude, you can sing. What the hell? I'm in a band. I'm in a Huntington project. It was all instrumental band at the time, and he goes, you want to like join the band and just have fun with it and see what happens? And so 2 albums we made, successfully made an album. And we're on our way to make another record. And then I graduated respiratory therapy school in 2005, and we decided, my wife and I decided to travel the States as healthcare travelers for 4 years. So we took off and left the band. It was really bittersweet, and kept in really close contact with Mike the whole time, and Peter, and a lot of the band. Missed them because on the road, I didn't play guitar back then. I didn't pick up guitar until San Francisco, and all I met were musicians and artists and, you know, painters, and everybody was just artists. And met this guy, Paul Sage Jared, that inspired me to pick up the guitar, and he brought me to this little guitar store in San Rafael, California. Bought a Washburn, $200, and my hands were bleeding as much as, you know.
Yeah.
I was trying to play catch up on all the songs I ever knew, and like just started learning them all, and so yeah, started teaching myself guitar out there, and then we came back in 2009, April 20th, 2009, got our jobs back at the hospital, and kind of brought the band back together. But the Mike is he's the main guy still from the original band back in 2001 to 05, and he's still with me today, thank God. And he stuck it out, and we just kind of like, I was inspired by a friend of mine, Sophia Manning, to go out and play solo by myself at this little place called La Villa Bistro down in South Lake Shelburne. And so she got me the gig, started doing that, making $75 a night by myself. And then Damien, I was taking care of his girlfriend at the time in the hospital, and he was like, "Hey man, you need a drummer?" He's like, I was like, "A drummer? What do you mean? Like play little gigs in a restaurant? What am I gonna do with a full set of drums?" He goes, "No, I got a cajon. Like
I have a box.
I got a box." You know, I'm like, okay. So he came in one night, and it was like, wow, all right. And Mike was playing with me at the time, and my other friend Dakota Foley plays mandolin in the group. And so yeah, Damien was on that since that day. He's been with the band, and then it's kind of the way it's been. Is like the more we play out, the more people. Ethan found us at Vin Bar. We were playing first Tuesday every month there, so Ethan just showed up one night and said, "Hey man, I hear violin and all your music. You know, I would love to play in your band." And so he was in the next show there, and it was just magic after that. And out of all the band members in the Shane Murley band, there's probably about 12 or 13 band members total, and every show is sort of different, and in that not everybody can always make every show because it plays so much. So I was just like, you know, hopefully can get the bass and the drums, or just a drum, you know, at the very least, and a melody man like Mike or Ethan or Dakota or anybody. And so from 2-piece, 3-piece to 7-piece bands, you know, we play late night on tap, or we do weddings now, and we're starting to become on the radar, you know, with the locals and stuff. So it's been a lot of fun, and we love music, and we write a little bit, but we were going to write more. It's our plan is to just quit playing so many shows and actually just sit down and write some songs. You know, it's hard when you're just playing all.
We are going to try an original song for you. It's called "If You Chose to Stay," inspired by a beautiful person that took her own life, and the message is basically, if you ever feel like you need to reach out to somebody, just do it. Don't hold it in down the dark roads. But this is the only beautiful thing that came out of this that whole situation. And Mike came up with this melody, and the lyrics kind of fell into place. So. When you said goodbye, thought you never mean. Sparkle in your eye kept you coming back again. I know she can't get out her own way, but I've shown you, oh, if you chose to stay. You love her, let her go, but I don't believe it. You gotta fight. You truly love someone.
you're never really alone. Just pick up the phone. Go back home. You said goodbye, thought that you never needed. Sparkle in your eye kept you coming back again. Oh, but I know you can't get out of your own way. I would have shown you if you chose to stay. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know what came here tonight. Got this feeling that something ain't right. I'm so scared the kids I fall off my chair, and I don't know how I'll get down the stairs. Oh, now you let me jump just to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you, and I don't know what it is I should do. Is it cool if I go sleep on
You have singing playing the violin in our show with the Shane Morley Band, singing playing the violin. But he is also the founder manager at Building the Tiny House with Michael Jensen.
Yeah, so I got really interested in small houses back in 2011, and I built a 160 square foot tiny house on wheels over the course of 14 months. When I was doing it, it was before they got really popular, and so I got so many questions on my Facebook page, on my emails, and I decided to write a book about my experience. And so that slowly over time started as kind of a part-time, just a little interesting thing I was doing on the side on the internet, and now that's what I do full-time. I sell my tiny house books and plans and travel around and speak at tiny house events and festivals.
And how can you
all
pin
that
that
kind of stuff.
tuning?
Well,
Because
you
the
know,
violin takes a lot of time to...
it was very kind of you to say that it was perfect tuning. I can assure you that it was not. But I started playing violin when I was 4. And I played classical violin all the way up through high school and actually got pretty burnt out on it. So around the time I was 17, you know, I picked up my mom's old acoustic guitar and I bought an electric guitar on eBay, and that's what I wanted to play because that was what I was hearing in the music that I like to listen to. And it wasn't for years that I realized that the violin was something that I could introduce back and start playing the music that I wanted to be playing. So, you know, more recently I've played violin with Shane, and I do some session recording work for a few people around Burlington, and it's just great to be able to kind of take the rock and pop and folk music that I like and play it on the instrument that I'm the most comfortable on.
But you can also sing, which is very important.
I appreciate it. You know, it's, as a violin player, you know, you have to listen really closely, and because there are no frets on the violin, so you have to be hearing what you're playing to play in tune. And so I think that string players in general, they develop a really good ear. And I had never really sang before. And actually, the first song that I ever played out with a friend in college was Something by the Beatles. And after, we went to an open mic night, and we played that song, and someone came up to me from the audience and was like, "Man, you have a really beautiful voice." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" But you know, I was really shy about it. I didn't sing into the mic. Peter still yells at me to sing closer into the mic. But you know, over time, I've gotten more comfortable singing, and I love to sing.
Tracks like no other love, flowing in the way she moves. But I don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. Somewhere in a smile, she knows that I don't
Ethan Waldman on violin, y'all.
Payne Hurley on guitar and voice.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, yes.
So where do you learn to play the drums?
Well, I started playing at 10 years old. I didn't really ask to play the drums. MTV was in its heyday in the late 80s.
The garage?
No, it was just on the TV, and like I remember like my brother, his friend, and myself would be watching it, and we had 2 tennis rackets. Because we want to play guitar. Everybody wanted to play guitar in the 80s, right? But one person wouldn't be able to, and then the other that guy would air drum. And I think my parents probably like peeked around the corner and watched this one time, and I didn't have a racket in my hand at that point, so I was air drumming. And my dad always wanted to play the drums. He actually had a snare drum at one point. So for my 10th birthday, they surprised me with a kit in my bedroom.
Supportive.
Yeah, they did. And I was like, as a 10-year-old kid, a big drum kit in your room was pretty exciting. As time goes on, you get better at playing. You don't break things as often. And I don't really break much with this band.
No, but you're playing very well here now with the Shane Molly Band. We are going to listen a little bit of music, and we are going to come back talking to the guitar player of the band.
Pulls on the window, nail by the door. Why would anybody leave so quickly for? I can feel you. Well,
Thank you, thank you.
So in Vermont, if there is an instrument that has, let's say, we can make a top 100. I begin by Paul Asbel. Second one, I would play Nick Casarino. In which number are you? Because you play very well too.
I thought I was number 2.
Number 2? We can give you number 3. Yeah.
Okay.
So where do you learn to play the guitar?
Well, it took a couple of attempts at first. Mostly self-taught. I grew up with my dad. He played guitar, just kind of strumming chords. My brother started picking it up. He got really good. I can recall him playing along with like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Cream, all the classic rock kind of guys. And you know, I had a couple failed attempts, and then eventually my best friend started playing guitar, and you know, he was like picking up some songs, and like I started to get a little jealous, you know, a little bit. So there's kind of a competition thing there. So I picked it back up and stuck with it, and we would play together, and it was all just kind of self-taught, looking at books, playing by ear.
How many years? 10? More than that?
How long have I been playing?
Yeah.
Over 20 now.
20?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And how do you find your voice? Because you have a very special voice in the guitar.
It's just experience, playing. Because I was actually a music major for a couple years at high school, and you know, my brain was getting filled up with all this music theory, and I kind of look back on it now, and I was playing too many notes just because I didn't really know what to do with it. I didn't, you know. And that just comes with age, experience, I think. Just learning when to cut out, learning, you know, you don't want to step on anyone's feet. Just listening to the music.
And do you write music too?
I do, yeah.
With Shane?
With Shane, yeah. Quite a few tunes, actually, and I wrote most of the, I don't know, probably 90% of the songs for that album that the Huntington Project that we played back in the early 2000s.
This song is original, also called Branded, and it's just a relationship song that wrote a little while back, so hope you enjoy. Brandy, you branded me, and all I got is your memory. When you said, oh, you're better off, my ears need to rung out loud, and my head's been stuck in a thundercloud. I know I still feel proud I treated you. We laughed, we cried, you cheated and lied, you stumbled all the way to a fight. It kept the neighbors up all night. Let me tell you, sometimes it's good. Here I stand with my heart in my hand.
And did you have any formal instruction before playing with Shane, Melody Band?
I've played, maybe since I was 12 or 13 years old. Never really classically trained or anything, just kind of goofing off with friends. And then started taking it more seriously, maybe my mid-20s, 5 years ago or so. Yeah, and then just kind of got linked up and is playing a more professional setting now, which has definitely brought me a long way. So.
But if now you can make all the gigs, you're good to learn to play more.
Exactly, yeah.
More songs. Maybe you can write one.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure, sure.
Rocking it out here.
As soon as I entered our studio, I was very interested in talking to this gentleman in black with hat. He's the authentic blues player from Texas. And then I learned that he had been playing with Little Richard for 10 years. So that was a lot of blowing and fast. Can you describe a little bit of the history that you have been making with your saxophone?
I don't know if you call it history. I was originally a clarinet player. Started playing clarinet, was in the 3rd grade, and started realizing somewhere along the line that instead of learning what I was supposed to learn to read music, I was sitting with the radio and playing along with songs on the radio and making up my own parts. So it was a short change from jumping to clarinet to saxophone, and started playing in my first real rock and roll band when I was in junior high, and did that until got sucked into Vietnam. And then when I got back from Vietnam, I said, well, what are you going to do with yourself? And I said, play saxophone.
So you are a vet?
Yeah.
There you play the saxophone there in Vietnam too?
No, I was a sniper.
No
for
big
the
bands?
Marine Corps.
That was a dangerous war.
Yeah.
I saw many films when I was a young lad in Havana.
Yeah.
Far from Vietnam. It's a French film. Electrifying. I saw many of them.
Times, the worst of times.
Good. And how did, well, she made a story how you joined the band.
No.
And you were dying in the hospital?
Well, I thought I was, but I wasn't.
We're all dying.
Oh, you came back to life with that beautiful lady who's there.
That's right.
Good. It's very important. Happy life, happy wife. Happy wife, happy life. Happy sex. All good. I would like to say goodbye. I would like to have this guy here forever, but we need to finish our show, and I want to finish with something really very happy, and I want to give them a big bow.
No. Appreciate you.
Sure. Okay, and I want to thank Steve Bailey, Mrs. Clark, and Rebecca Badula, and all the viewers, because the show is becoming popular, because the people who are coming here are great friends, and they are spreading the word and speaking about the show. And now we have more bands who want to come to the television. At the beginning, we began with the Mo Barber. That was the first band to come here, and they made a wonderful set of rock jazz fusion with mandolin and guitar. That was, and trumpet, mute trumpet. That was a great band here. And then we had some videos, and then we began having bands every week here, and we have a lot of good shows. So thank you very much for having us every week. And now we are going to be on air 3 days a week for the summer. Thank you.
Thank you,
Shane
Tony.
Band again.
Thank you,
Okay.
Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Rebecca, thank you. Lynn, Peter Bailey.
Woo!
You
Yes.
rock. You guys rock. Hey,
Thank you so much.
pleasure.
That was awesome.
Welcome back to LCA TV, Channel 15 in Colchester, Vermont. Now we are going to be presenting a great band that had been a long-awaited show. The first element of this band that I saw was Cui Di Francesco, and I really enjoy all that repertoire of music that she presented. And then we began speaking about the possibility to bring the band to the show. They are really very busy. So it's a double pleasure and an honor to have 5 guys here making almost a debut on television as a quintet that is named Bardella. And Bardella is Cui on guitars and vocals. And there is a very important element in this band who has been a founder of broadcasting system in Vermont. His name is Artie Lavinia. Please. Everybody sings in this band. And we have a drummer in the back whose name is David Simpson, who sings beautifully too. So give him a bow. Wonderful. And a great grooving on bass, Mr. Jeff Barrows, also a singer. I was alerted that we were going to have a great guitar player, guitar extraordinaire. His name is Mark Christensen. So we are going to be opening a new chapter on Guitar Magazine, bass guitar playing, vocals and drumming and more. And today we are going to be hosting a great, great show with Bardella. Maybe many of you are now asking what is the meaning of Bardella. I am going to know that in a few. And that is a great name for the band. Bardella is very easy to say. And we, as a channel to promote live music, we are very glad to have them here today. So you're going to love it. So give them a bow from the studio and also in your home. And then we are going to be here at LCA TV Channel 15 in Colchester. And from Colchester to the whole world. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have been enjoying a wonderful set of music with this band that is named Bardella. I know that many of you have been asking, what is the meaning of Bardella? What is the name of Bardella? So can we begin by that question first?
Yes, we can. It's a good place.
I'm Bar.
Bar?
I'm De.
Well,
good. So
Our
Arti
names.
Lavigne, De Francesco, Bar, Jeff Barros. You got it.
Bardella.
Bardella is Jeff Barros, Guidi Francesco, and Arti Lavigne. It's a synthesis of the first syllable of the names.
Yes.
You got it.
Good. Wonderful. So I would like to begin by Kui.
Yes.
Because last year there was a very special interview on Vermont Maturity that they published, and it says Vermont Songbird Finds Her Voice, written by Phil Newbeck, which is something really special. I got it at Shaw's while I was working there, and I kept it. I said one day I want to interview her or talk to her about something. So that's a story about all the contributions you have made to many people who have been sick, home care, and more.
That's right.
Can you explain a little bit for the people?
Well, I consider it my day audience group. Rehab facilities, retirement homes. I go around and I do 1 hour performances of their favorite songs, mostly songs from the first half of the 20th century, the ones that their father or mother sang them to sleep with, or their wedding song, or a song from their romantic interludes in their lives. And so we spend that hour enjoying one another's company. Often people will sing along.
That's very important. Music keeps us together.
Yes.
And the first time I saw you singing live, you were like pleasing everybody who was there. And everybody who asked for a song, then you look in your then you came after with a song. That was a great show.
Oh, thank you.
So that was something that it was in St. Albans.
Oh, yes.
It was in St. Albans. I
Okay.
remember that. So I would like to, Arti Lavigne.
Yes.
You have been promoting music, and you have been a voice as a singer, a guitarist, but also a host on the radio.
That's correct.
And your name has been mentioned here several times by the trio of Noah Reed and other people.
Yeah.
Because one day I got all the greetings that I had on Facebook. Arti Lavigne, oh yeah, I know him.
Really?
So now we have Arti Lavigne here.
Great to be here. Thanks very much for welcoming me and making me feel at home. you know,
Sure.
And it's a great place to play.
So you have been a founder of Vermont radio community.
I've been in radio a long time. I had a chance to start off the Point now. It was WNCS in 1977. Started that with the Spalding family, and then moved on to the Wizard in Vergennes at the time. Then we moved it to Burlington. Then we started the Buzz as well. And now I'm doing some part-time gigs at the original place, The Point. It's great.
Good. And they have like an office in every city, because you can hear The Point all over Vermont.
they have offices throughout the throughout the area.
That is good.
That's correct.
I listen to a lot of The Point sometimes.
Yeah.
And also the show that they host from Burlington in the summer. Every week, The Point comes and they bring a band from any part of America.
Sure, yeah.
And
yeah.
they host it too.
Battery Park. Yeah,
Yeah,
Battery
sure.
Park Concert Series, a great thing. They'll have more of that coming up this year as well.
I live in the country, the hills touch the sky, house in the trees, garden outside. I rise with the morning, I find a new day, find a new day. Can't help how I found my way, ring around the sun, ring around again and again and again, like I never did before, like I'll never do again. I woke up in London, I wanna begin. Out here in the country, take one more day. Time passes slowly, time passes away. In the country, I woke up this morning, I was living a dream. Out here in the country,
And where do you find this young guy here?
Cooey.
The drummer.
My family grew him. Yes, he is my brother's son, and my husband and I gave him his first drum kit for Christmas, and it's only fitting that him growing up to become a drummer, multi-instrumentalist actually, we thought, gee, we would like to have a timekeeper in this band, and called up Dave, and he came running. And
But he also played
loved
guitar.
It. Yeah,
Yes.
he also.
I said maybe it's too different.
Multi.
David Simpson.
Yes.
I saw him playing guitar. Facebook. You know, Facebook is like a Wikipedia. You can go there and find a lot of information.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's good. So I would like to now know who is the third member of the original Bardella trio, and now we have a quintet with a guitarist extraordinaire here who has a special sound and doesn't use a pick. I knew what Montgomery played with the thumb, but this guy does everything with the finger.
Well, I got 5 on the hand, so.
Well, you know, some people they like the pick to run faster, but you have, Rebecca was explaining to me that you want to have more dynamic in the electric guitar.
Exactly, yes.
Good.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
Great.
And Mr. Jeff Barrows, that is the third of the beginning of Bardella.
Right, yeah.
Bardella.
That's
So
right.
they are sitting here. It was casual.
Yes.
Bardella. Don't forget it.
We always sit this way.
That's right.
Anywhere
Here
we
we
go.
are.
You have a special
Makes writing the car difficult.
Yeah, Bardella.
Jeff
In
is
the
often
bus, you can be
driving.
like that. And you have a very special sound on your bass too, because you play with this big hand here. I almost barely see you move your finger, but the bass sounds really awesome. How do you get that kind of technique?
I've played that way for 50 years. I'm starting to get the heck of it now.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, because so the music is calm, and then you can fill every space with your bass. That's how I feel it.
Yes,
Right?
it's very melodic.
Morphologically, that's how I feel it.
Very beautiful.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mark Christensen, he could have been a basketballer, but he decided to play the guitar. And let's see, I would like you to talk to the people about your technique, the sound, which is not the sound of any rock player, but it has a very special distinction. I would say.
Yeah, I use a lot of different effects, and as you pointed out, I don't use a pick in this context. When I play acoustic, I use a pick, but that's a different gig.
Yeah.
It's inspired by a lot of the players that really inspired me that don't use a pick. People like Jeff Beck and Mark Knopfler and guys that use more, that have more dexterity and more dynamic range. Exactly what she said. You know, I'm trying to get a different level of dynamic range out of the electric guitar.
Beautiful. So now that you know the band, we have one more song for you. There is a great composer in the band whose name is Artie Lavinia. So you're going to see that part of the repertoire today in this show was written by yourself.
That's correct, yeah.
Good. So we are going to be speaking about the composer in the next set. Thank you very much. More music by Bardella. Bardella. And we have to make now a second name. Mark Song. Bardella Mark Song.
Well, the land
hands full away.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We are Bardella.
I have been taking photos from the Facebook of Sal Di Francesco and Cui Di Francesco. Because you know the photos speak by themselves. You can tell the people the story that happened 25 years ago when Cui was younger. She looked like an Italian girl arriving in America. And she had a bag and a guitar and more. But I have counted a lot of people who have been playing with her, and one of them is Bob Recupero.
Yes.
The pirate. Yeah?
He's actually a classmate of mine at Rice High School. We went to school together.
And you play also with Steve and him. You have a great trio with them. Steve Thurston, Jeff
Steve
Salisbury.
Thurston, and yeah, I played with the Jeff Salisbury Band, and oh my goodness, who else have I played with? I've sat in with a lot of people, Dennis Wilmot and Left Eye Jump,
Yes.
who are really great jump blues people.
Johnny Jupiter.
I've met him at Blues Jams down at 51 Main years ago. My goodness, I'm drawing a blank.
Keith Williams.
Keith Williams, he's a member of the Spider Roulette Band that I mentioned earlier before I went solo.
And Robin Godfrey.
Robin Gottfried is another musician friend of mine who I played in a duo with for a time, and he's now blossomed out with his own band. So he's got a band going on that he's devoting.
And my
his
amigo
energy
Bob
to.
Gagnon.
Bob Gagnon and Andy Smith, I perform with them 5 or 6 times a year. We've appeared with Rob Zollman on drums down at the Brandon Music Hall a couple of times, once last year and once this year, playing jazz standards. Oh my goodness, what a time.
They love to
What
play
a
Moonglow.
time.
They love to play Moonglow.
Yes.
Yeah, I had them sometime in 3 shows in Richmond.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with
Oh,
Tony
my.
on clarinet and other saxophone.
Mhm.
So your repertoire is also amazing. I saw you singing one day, you sang for almost 4 hours, but you love the music of Lowell Fulson.
Yes, I do.
Reconsider Baby,
Reconsider
1954.
Baby. All of the old blues numbers by the
Good.
greats who had to export their music to the British Isles in order for the Brits to pick up on it and then re-import it to us white folk as the British invasion in the early 1960s. That's the only way we could get exposure to what was then called race music, because only the white bread music got through on the radio stations that were marketed to us.
And then when the
yes.
people saw the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and all
That
those
was-
guys
that
playing
was all
blues,
part of it, that's
hey, what
Yes.
kind of music is that?
Yeah.
And we had all the black people starving here with no money and no shows.
Yeah.
That's very good. Reconsider the baby. She knows more. So we have more music with Bardella for you. Bardella. Later we're going to put Mark Simpson. Okay? So don't forget it. This is LCA TV Channel 15, and we are writing the paper of the air. More music,
Yes.
more magazine, so people can know who we are.
Oh,
Thank you
yes.
very much.
gonna miss me when I'm gone. I know you, rider, gonna miss me when I'm gone. Gonna miss your baby. Come rolling
Blind Lemon Jefferson tune.
Well, I would like to know who writes the music of Bardella, because I had never listened to most of the songs that you have played today. And who are the composers of the band?
I'm the composer of the band. I've been writing songs for a while, and so I've ended up becoming the composer of the band. But I've done it for other bands as well prior to this. And the real beginning of Bardella was like a meeting. I was playing with the other band with Mark, Radio Underground, on the Church Street Marketplace. And that band also does mostly original songs that I write as well. And I saw this couple coming down as we were playing, and I go, yeah, somebody looks kind of familiar. and it was Cooey DeFrancisco, and she's with Sal, her husband. And I hadn't seen Cooey in a few decades.
Yeah,
a little while. We went to high school together. I was a little bit, a couple years or a year older. That was it. So they came in and just said, hey, we really like what you're doing. And Cooey told me she's singing now. So we just said, let's get together and try singing some of these songs. I was working with Jeff on a regular basis. We'd get together on a Saturday and play stuff and work stuff out. And it just kind of evolved, and we'd get together and we rehearsed, and then it turned into, hey, let's bring Mark in. When we started working on a 4-song EP of the songs. We wanted to get them out like here, so people would hear them and be familiar with them. So we went and met up with Bennett Shapiro at Lovetown Studios, Bad Tech Sound, which is in Middlesex. And we recorded those 4 songs. And in the process, I brought my son in as the drummer. He was in California. So we sent tracks to him. He did 3 of them there and 1 here live. And Mark came in and did all the lead work on it. So that's how we ended up with the first 4-song EP, and everything's grown from there, basically. And it's been a lot of fun putting it all together and getting Dave involved on the drums. And here's the result right here tonight, and thank you for having us, Tony.
So we have to send a copy to California now.
Huh?
California Dreaming, California Wake.
Absolutely.
To California.
Okay.
Good. All right. Okay. So we are going to have one good song about California now. Arte Lavigne, composer, Bardella, Mark, and David. Okay, thank you very much. But all together, we are all Bardellas now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We are very glad to be here with you, and this is not going to be the last show. We have many projects to bring here, and we are not going to retire. Okay? What do you think?
Not by a long shot.
Good. We are not going to
Not
retire.
today.
No, we're
No.
not. Okay, thank you very much to Sal, to our sound engineer that has made a great, fantastic job. What's his name?
Bennett And to Shapiro. Bennett.
Beautiful.
Bennett
Shapiro?
Shapiro. Yeah.
That's fine. Thank you very much. Rebecca Badula on the other side of the set, doing the cameras and taking care of everything. Big
So today we are really very glad to be presenting here a band that I have been following myself for 10 years. When I came from Cuba, one evening I was living in Williston. I did not know anybody around, and I went to the Lincoln Inn. Now it's on tap. Same place, different name. And there was a guy whose name is Noe Reed. Listen to that name, and then I asked the people there, said, no, it's the Noe Reed play tonight. And they continue to play every Thursday after 8 o'clock. Wonderful food, nice people, wonderful camaraderie, and nice. And then 10 years after, I have the pleasure to present here the Noe Reed Project. That is a great blues band from America, not only Vermont, because sometimes people think very local. We have to think universal. And this is a band of the world. Noe Reed Project can be listened to in many other stations all over the world through internet. The radio now is important to say that here. And also the magazines are writing about this band. So I am glad to present a band that was founded in Highgate, Vermont in 1997. So we are celebrating today 21 years of the Noe Reed Project. So give it a bow, please. Thank you very much. Come on. Hey. And just a few months ago, I went to see them in the Franklin County Field Days. That was a very beautiful Sunday, and there was a great crowd also clapping this band. And then I have to present our new bass player, whose name is Walter Delaney, who is on bass here, playing beautifully. He knows all the songs already. A veteran of the big leagues on the drums is Mr. Eric. No, that's a shit. A veteran of the drums in the blues field is Mr. Eric Belrose. Have been here playing with Noe for 21 years. And now I would like to present one of the guys that has a great voice. He sings with the voice of a person, and he sings beautifully. And his name is Norbert Reed, but everybody knows him by Norbert Reed. And he also plays the guitar. So, and they are committed to spread the gospel of the blues. And I am very glad to be presenting that here because the Cubans also like the blues. And this is the music that we like too. So thank you very much for having me and having us and having Rebecca and all the whole team. And thank you for coming because in this studio we have room for 300 people. Thank you very much. And you have a wonderful show with us. I will be back to talk to them a little bit, but now they need to play because they want to play here for you today. Thank you very much. On the other side of the set, the one and only Rebecca Padula. Thank you very much.
Everybody said it's good time. Back home to me.
Yeah, the good times. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
I am very happy today because I am having here a great band that I have been following for more than 10 years since I came from Cuba in 2006. And as I said in my introduction, I live in Williston and I didn't know anybody here, so I went to eat at the Lincoln Inn that they cook very well there. And there was a band playing. Coincidence, it was a Thursday. And they continue to play there for more than 10 years now. And I was introduced to Noble Reed by one of the managers of the place, and that was a very good night.